Hi guys, I'm John.
I'm Alex.
And we are Stereo Input, coming to you this morning from Jacksonville, Florida, sunny and beautiful.
Indeed we are. So, how's
Coffee
the
in
Patriots?
hand. Oh yeah, the Patriots won. For once, you chose the winning team.
Shut up. So, worst albums of 2016?
Worst albums of 2016. I actually have two because I didn't have a chance to go really in depth into one single one.
I only have the one.
Alright, I'll let you go first then.
Alright. My least favorite album of 2016 was Collage by the Chainsmokers. And let me tell you, it's brutal. That's a tough listen all the way around. And ultimately, I don't even think that's a fair statement. My biggest problem with this album is that it pretends to be something it isn't. A little bit about the Chainsmokers, if you're unfamiliar with them, and by that I mean you live under a rock, because it's the only thing on the radio these days. They're an EDM band. It's basically two DJs. To my awareness, they get other people to sing features on a majority of their songs. And that's pretty much it. Collage starts off with a pretty good song, in a vacuum. And what I mean by that is if the first time you listen to the album and you get to that first song, it's not bad. You know, it's got this, nice, easy little rhythm to it, and it's melodically not that interesting, or the chord structure, song structure in general. Nothing is supremely fascinating about the song, but it's not bad. The problem is when you get into the other songs, you realize they can only really ever do one thing, and that's this kind of spacious EDM kind of music with
I'm sure it's
vocals.
really good for like being high to or something.
I'm sure. And ultimately my problem with the album comes down to this. It pretends to be listening music, and it really isn't. I mean, let's be real here. If you're in a club or something, and you're just super drunk, and all of a sudden, "Don't Let Me Down" comes on, I'm sure that's a great time. When the bass drops and it goes into that weird little thing that sounds like a
crunk with the Chainsmokers.
Yeah. When it goes into the little that little bridge section where it sounds like a man with a kazoo, and then a man with a slightly larger kazoo the next time around. I'm sure that's a great time. It'd be a lot of fun to be on the dance floor in that moment.
With those men with their kazoos?
Yes. However, if you're listening to this music and you're not in a club, it's like, what's the point of this?
Yeah,
why does this exist? And that's the problem. Even worse at this, in my opinion, is Closer, which is another one of their big hit singles. It's pretentious. It really is. Because it tries. It's
because we aren't pretentious.
No, but this is different.
All.
This is different. Because the thing is, this song, it tries to tell you this story about these two people and their romance, but it's just not interesting. It tries to be something that it can't really be. It tries to tell you that it's sophisticated and that it can be dance-worthy and tell a good story at the same time, and it can't.
I'm going to go ahead and, just for the sake of it, play devil's advocate and say, well, there are a lot of people out there who might argue, who like the Chainsmokers, who would say, yes, but I just need some music that even though I'm sitting in my living room at 3 o'clock on a Monday afternoon, I need to grab a bottle of vodka sometimes, and, this music makes me want to do that.
Okay, I guess that's fair. My two arguments to that would be this. First of all, that's fine if you're using the music as a vehicle for something else. Because I'll be real here. This is great. The Chainsmokers EP, Collage, is a great vehicle for dancing. It's good club, modern dancing music. It just is. I mean, I can't even deny that. Is it good music? Does it stand alone by itself to be that you can listen to it on its own, just in a car ride or whatever?
Okay.
I don't think so. I don't think it's able to stand on its own and not be a vehicle for something else. Second of all, opportunity cost. Are the Chainsmokers so much better than every other alternative. And I think no. I think they're an inferior good that can be easily replaced by something else that is better.
This man lives his life by the laws of opportunity cost.
There's no other way to live your life. But it's just, if you want to listen to the Chainsmokers and just get drunk and just listen to some quote unquote chill music, I think there are better choices.
Here's what we're saying: you have to be drunk to enjoy the Chainsmokers' new album.
If you're not dancing, I might go that far, actually. If you're listening to a pop album that doesn't have a lot of musical substance, in that it's not really stimulating in, listening to someone's excellent vocal talent, or listening to a great, well-written song that holds your interest all the way through, it has to be fun. You have to be able to sit down and listen to it like, yeah, this isn't that great, but it's a lot of fun. Like, the Chainsmokers are not fun. They have this oppressive moodiness to them, which doesn't really fit the lack of substance that they put forth, and so it's just an incongruous sort of listening experience, and I don't like it. So it's my least favorite album of 2016.
All right, so I'm gonna go a little less in depth into two albums.
All right.
So first, who ruined the Beatles? Yoko. And Yoko Ono released an album last year.
Did she really?
She released an album.
I didn't know that.
And it was bad.
See, I didn't even know about that. I mean, I guess even if I did, I wouldn't listen to it because she scares me.
My first pick for the worst album of 2016 was Yoko Ono's Yes, I'm a Witch Too. I don't remember song names. I don't feel bad for not remembering song names.
Yeah, it gets like that sometimes.
She tried to do too much.
Okay.
She tried to incorporate EDM. She tried to incorporate, like, late Beatles style rock guitar. She tried to incorporate, like, some kind of 70s or 80s style classic rock stuff. She tried to pull too many things into the same album. I mean, yes, most of it is very generic, sounding terrible, music. But when she opens her mouth to sing, man.
Yeah, she's an acquired taste at best.
That is a woman who did not take singing lessons. And that's another one where it's not fun. If it was fun, I could excuse that, but it's also another one where that's just, somebody got moody.
So, did she try to incorporate all of these styles in, like, the same songs, or were they, like, different songs throughout the album?
No, it was like every 2 songs she'd switch genres violently.
Okay.
And it just made for a very jarring listening experience. There was no...
Is it possible that you just don't get Yoko Ono? Because I'm going to start off with saying I don't either. I don't like her. But is it possible that it's just like something you just don't get? Like people don't get animals as leaders or something?
That's possible. I mean, and granted, I really don't get her, and I am still carrying a grudge about something she did to the Beatles before I was born. So, do you remember 2011? LMFAO was still doing their thing at that time.
Yeah, I guess they were.
And they were still doing their thing well into the 20 teens.
Yeah.
But more recently, I can't remember exactly the date, I want to say a couple of years back, the 2 guys who once made up LMFAO had somewhat of a creative split, and they went their own ways. Well, the white dude with an afro who has proclaimed himself Red Foo.
Oh, that guy, yeah.
Red Foo released his own album in an attempt to keep the party rock torch going. He's carrying the party rock torch still.
How successful was that?
Here lies my problem with it. If you listened to Party Rock Anthem and Sexy and I Know It back in the day, which I know you did because we all did. You danced to that, right?
At least once, yes.
Exactly. I danced to it also. And you know what? I knew the shuffle back in high school.
Okay, that I didn't know.
I could do the shuffle. I could do the reject or whatever that thing was, where you do your legs like that. Red Foo's still pulling from the same bag of tricks.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's got the exact. It is my problem with that isn't a. That's not even an I don't get it anymore problem, because there was a time when I got it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like that's another band where if you are just needing alcohol, you need some alcohol and some dancing and a good time out with your peeps, I guess I could understand it. But I guess my issue with this album also comes down to an opportunity cost problem.
Yeah.
Because there are other bands who do dance music so much better. Zed does some really fun dance music.
Yeah.
You don't need party rock for that. He's pulling from the same bag of musical tricks that he was pulling from 5 years ago, 6 years ago. There has been no musical growth there. The closest thing to growth that I found on that album was an incredibly out of place feeling piano track at the end, like piano based ballad.
Okay.
At the end of a dance album with all sorts of like going on in the background.
That is unusual.
At the end of it, suddenly there's this random piano ballad with Red Foo's kind of slightly out of tune singing over it.
That's unusual.
The only thing that came close to being good on that album was a very, very random track with Stevie Wonder on it.
Wait, they got Stevie Wonder?
They got Stevie Wonder in to do a song.
Was it good?
Almost.
Was it Stevie Wonder's fault?
No.
Okay.
Stevie Wonder was not the problem with that song.
Okay.
And I will give Red Foo and his crew credit for attempting to do something a little bit different. They tried to pull some of Stevie Wonder's funk into the song, and they tried to make a dance album blend with funk. I will give them credit for trying. It just didn't work. Our hope behind these videos is to spark a conversation.
Not an argument.
Not just a conversation. I mean, we argue sometimes, but
That's true. That is true.
lovingly always,
Of course.
as brothers. But our hope is to spark a conversation, so feel free to comment and tell me that I'm wrong, or tell Alex that he's wrong, because I know that there are those of you out there that think both of us are wrong about everything we just said. I've been John.
I've been Alex.
I have my cup of coffee in hand to get ready to go to UNF. Swooping and scooping. Go Ospreys. We've been Stereo Input.